Are you having trouble keeping up with your opponents on Whistlestop Summit and Mario Kart World? Don't worry, this video's got you covered. My name is Parmo and in this guide I'll show you how to perform all major shortcuts on Whistlestop Summit. I'll be breaking them down into a few understandable and easy to replicate steps. Mastering these shortcuts won't just boost your online ranking, it will also make this track way more fun to play. Whistlestop Summit is absolutely packed with amazing shortcuts. In this guide I'll be covering the 4 main ones that are used in the current world records. I will make some slight adjustments to them though, so that they are less risky and more viable for online play. For each shortcut I'll walk you through a slowed step-by-step analysis first. Then we will go over some common mistakes and things to watch out for. And last I'm gonna show you what the shortcut looks like in real time. Now if you want to practice them, I recommend going into time trial. You can also use free roam for this. There you won't have to deal with the internal timer of 10 minutes after which a race automatically ends. Just keep in mind that in this mode you also can't tell if you're going out of bounds, so it's up to you. Alright, that's enough introduction, let's jump in. Now the first shortcut on this track is actually right next to the starting line. But depending on your starting position in a race, you might not be able to take this one on the first lap, so we'll come back to it later. Just a quick note, for each shortcut I'll be displaying the relevant controller inputs on screen, so keep an eye on that. Now the first shortcut I show you might be a minor one, but almost everyone does it online. By jumping from wall to wall, you can actually skip this patch of grass here. So once you're getting off these rails, start charging up a jump. Now I like to keep holding the trick button after my last trick to automatically start charging up a jump once I hit the ground. Next, drive toward this bush. When you're right next to it, perform a left jump onto the wall. Ride this wall for a small moment before performing a right trick onto the next wall. Here you just need to trick back down onto the main road. This shortcut is pretty easy, but there are still some things you might want to watch out for. First, don't approach the bush in a straight line. If you do, you won't be able to ride the wall as high and probably land on a patch of grass early, which will slow you down. Instead, try approaching the bush at a slight angle. I've also found the later you jump onto the first wall, the easier it is to avoid touching the grass. Now here's what the shortcut looks like in real time. Now the next shortcut is one of the most difficult in the entire game, and probably the reason why you're here in the first place. First, you want to trick onto this yellow pipe on the right. Ride it to the very end, and then trick off onto the next yellow pipe down below. Now this next part is where it gets tricky. Just before passing the third yellow clip, perform 2 left tricks onto this brick wall. Make sure to keep holding left while you're in the air. So once you're on the brick wall, keep holding left and ride it all the way to the edge. Then perform another left trick toward the green sign on the right. Just before hitting the green sign, start holding right. Now if you've timed all these inputs correctly, you should hit the upper corner of the green sign and fly onto this rail. On here, you just want to right trick onto this wall. Now in order to get onto this rail atop the building, you need to perform 2 right tricks from somewhere within this area. Now this next part is optional. Perform a right trick at this specific spot to save even more time. And here you go, one of the most difficult shortcuts broken down. Now let's go over some things to watch out for. Nailing the shortcut really comes down to only 2 things. First, jumping off the rail toward the brick wall and jumping off the wall toward the green sign. Both require very tight timing. Here's what happens if you mess up the first one. If you trick off the rail too early, you won't even make it onto the brick wall in the first place. But if you trick off too late, you won't be able to gain enough height on the wall to make the rest of the cut. Now here are 2 small but very effective tips. First, I like to already start holding left once I'm on the second yellow pipe. This way I won't mess up the direction of the tricks to come. And second, try delaying the second trick slightly. I found this makes the shortcut way more consistent. Here's a short comparison to show you what I mean by delaying slightly. On the left, I'm spamming the trick button to perform the tricks as quickly as possible, and on the right, I'm delaying the second trick for a split second. The difference is only a few frames, but this just shows how tight the timing with the shortcut really is. Just don't overdo the delaying. I found less to be more here. Now for the brick wall. The only tip I can really give you here is to trick off the edge as late as possible. Here you can see me tricking off the very edge. Now here you just want to make sure not to trick too early or too late, because then you won't make it onto the rail atop the building. Now this next part is interesting. If you right trick too early, you will fly out of bounds and Lucky 2 will reset you. But if you trick too late, you will fly off the roof and also land out of bounds. Now the timing might seem tricky here, but it really isn't. It's pretty easy to get the hang of it. Now to finish this one up, I'm gonna show you what it looks like in real time. One more thing, even after hours of practice, I'm not as consistent with this shortcut as I'd like to be. As you've seen, the timing here is really unforgiving. Some tricks almost need to be frame perfect. So don't be discouraged if this one takes a while to get down. So next up is the shortcut that's right next to the starting/finish line. First, you want to get onto the left rail and perform a left trick onto the yellow pipe. Now this next part is again optional. Perform a left trick onto the wall and immediately right trick back onto the yellow pipe. Here you want to perform a forward trick off the pipe after getting past this part. After landing, start holding left and perform a left trick off the edge onto this wall. Keep holding left and right the wall for a small moment. Then perform a right trick from somewhere within this area to fly onto the railway. Add in some additional right tricks mid-air to adjust your trajectory. If your timing was right, you should clip onto this left rail. On here, you want to hold right and perform some additional right tricks to save even more time. Now this shortcut isn't as hard as the last one, but there are still some things you could mess up here. First, you want to make sure to get onto the left rail at the beginning. This one might sound easy, but the right rail is very difficult to see, and if you don't watch out, you could attach to this one instead. If you want to trick on and off the wall, make sure to trick onto it before passing this part. If you don't, it's very likely that you won't make it back onto the yellow pipe and land out of bounds instead. Now I've already mentioned that depending on your starting position in a race, you might not be able to go for this one on the first lap. Here you can see me starting in first and there's just no way I could get up there. Now if you're placed somewhere in the middle or in time trial, there's a trick you can use here. While you're charging up a starting boost, hold A and B simultaneously. This will make your tire spin at the start of the race, giving you better handling at the expense of a smaller starting boost. Then you only need to hold left and drive toward the rails. Press the trick button to perform a small jump up the edge. And this way you can go for the shortcut even at the start of a race. Now if you're playing a very light character and vehicle combo with a high handling stat, you don't even need to use this trick to get up there. This is what you can see in all the world records. So now I'm gonna show you what this one looks like in real time. Now the last shortcut is actually an alternative to the first one I've shown you, though I don't really think it's viable for online play. But as it's included in all the current world records, I also wanted to include it here. So instead of jumping from wall to wall to skip this patch of grass, you can use a charging jump to cross this gap. First you want to drift around the corner and then start charging up a jump. Then you want to perform a left jump off this part to clip onto that side of the rock. This way you can jump across the whole gap. Now I haven't seen anyone doing it without bumping into this wall. So again, I don't really think it's viable for online play, but who knows. Now here's what the shortcut looks like in real time. And here you go. These were all the current shortcuts on Whistlestop Summit. I do know that some of them can be made faster, but as I've said, I wanted to provide methods that are easy to follow and easy to replicate. If you want to make them even faster, I recommend watching the current world records. This guide should provide you with all the basics you need for that. Alright, if you have any questions, requests or feedback, please feel free to share them down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and share this video if you found it helpful. I'm also planning on doing some more of these guides in the future, so if you want any particular tracks or shortcuts to be covered here, please let me know. Alright, have a good one. Until next time.